So I'm going to make a bag today, and I've cut some fabric out. I've got 2 pieces of this fabric here, and I'm going to be making this bag on the overlocker. So let's measure this in inches. I've cut it out at 19.5 inches, that's 50 centimetres, and how tall is it? It's 38 centimetres, which is 15 inches. I cut out the edge piece that was on the side, and so that gives me straps, but also it will give me a gusset. So here, so it's not big enough, snip it halfway at the bottom and add an extra long piece at the bottom. So my gusset measures, so look, 12 centimetres wide, and it's as long as your bag. And I think what I'm going to do is add some side pockets to this gusset as well, and I might put a pocket on the inside. I've got to cut some lining out as well, so I've got some blue fabric. Okay, so while I was pressing this fabric, I've spotted some it's a wadding, and it adds a little bit of fullness to the bag. You should always follow the manufacturer's instructions on how to press this on, and whenever you buy interfacing, you never actually get the instructions. So I will just suggest that you use something like this. Now this is a Teflon sheet actually, and somebody recommended it to me years ago, which was a great idea. So instead of using a pressing cloth, use this because it's non-stick. Here we go. So I've got my bag pieces there. I'm going to just cut away the wadding. Here we go. I've folded the lining up, so I've got 2 layers. And there's my lining. I need to just draw out the curves at the bottom. Right, so all I need to do is overlock all the edges, and I'm going to turn that over when I've overlocked it, and turn them all over, press them, and then top stitch it onto the lining. So that so I've made the strap 6 centimetres wide. So I've got 2 short straps. Because they're short, I'm going to have to connect them somehow to the bag and attach D-rings so that I can have longer straps. These strips have worked out to be 22 centimetres long, so 22 centimetres. Okay, so we're set on a 4-thread overlock. That means I've got 4 threads in the machine. 2 of them are nylon woolies. Woolly nylons. Those are sitting in the loopers. I've got overlocker threads in the regular overlocker in the needle position. That's threaded up. I'm going to give it a try. So everything's set at standard settings. We have the differential feed on 1. We have the stitch length on 3. The knife is set to standard at 5. I'm going to just give this a whirl and just check, because I'm using woolly nylon, the tension might be slightly out, and it is. Surprise. So I've increased the tension of the first needle to 5 because the woolly loopers are fighting with it. The stitches hold fairly well. That's giving it a good pull. Right, so I'm happy with all of that. My pockets, that's the first thing we're going to do. I'm going to serge all the way round. When you go off over a corner, go off the fabric by about 2 stitches, pull the fabric back and pull the whole of the fabric back in front of the needles, and let's go. I'm not going to thread this back in. I'm going to press all the edges down and then I'm going to top stitch them to the lining. Right, so first we're going to top stitch the pocket top. I'm going to place it at 1/2 inch from the top. Lock that into place, make sure you bring that up to the top. And there we go, so we've got a nice top stitch on there. There we go. Right, so now I'm going to place the pocket on. Now what would have been really cute if I followed the curve on the pocket. Maybe next time. I need a pocket to put my phone in, which is why I'm adding wadding as well. Right, so all we're going to do is go all the way around here. And then pivot round, straight line, about 3, can we do 4? I'm pushing it on 4, and there we go. So let's get rid of that thread there. Right, here we go. Whoops. Here are my D-rings and my straps for my bag. Right, so the way the bag's going to work, because I didn't have enough straps, I'm going to make little loops there. The D-rings will join them like that. So I'll feed them through the D-rings and then I'll have my bag handle going like that. And hopefully I'll end up with a long enough bag handle. Right, the way to make tubes that turn through is make a long chain on the machine. So make a long chain. Okay, that will do. Let's put the good sides together. And I'm going to place that chain into the middle of this strap. Okay, and I'm not going to cut it, so I need to make sure it rests bang in the middle of that strap. And if I do this on all of them, they'll all be even. Now, aim is to not cut anything away. Okay, and keep that chain in the middle. There we go, still got our chain there. Give that chain a little pull. Don't lose it. Just pull it. And don't confuse the wrong chain. So I'm going to cut that chain away. And there's the one dangling. So the way to do this is we pull on the chain. Can you see what's happening there? So if I pull on the chain, it gets pulled into the tube and the fabric gets pulled in as well. How cool is that? It takes a little bit of manipulating once you at the start, but once you get going, it's actually really good to watch. And once that starts coming through, I got my strap. I can go and press that now. Because the canvas is quite a difficult fabric to deal with, what I'm going to do is use these tubes. So pop the straw in. Now these are I bought from Amazon, but you can actually make them, and I have shown in another video how to make them. Okay, so So just push that through. Once it's there, you can push the rest of it through. Okay, so that's all 4 of the little ones done and the 2 long ones. I'm going to give them a press. Just roll the fabric and feel for the overlocking to be on one side. Right, there we go. So my 2 handles are going to sit like that inside there, and I'm going to sew them on like that, and then they are going to, it would have been better to have rings, but I know I haven't got rings or square sliders. There we go, like that. What I'm going to do with these smaller loops is just place a D-ring in there and overlock the edge together. Like that. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I need to do is there. I'm going to sew it down. Rather than do a reverse, I'm just going to turn the whole thing round and just go back again. And one more time. If you have a triple stitch on your machine, use that. Right, so there are my bag handles. Just make sure I've got them all right. Yes, so, and they are the same length all the way. Happy with that. So we've got our pockets, we've got our handles. Now we're going to sew the 2 bags. So we sew the lining bag and we sew the main outer bag. Okay, so I found a glittery shiny buckle which I'm going to use. I'm a bit of a magpie, I'm afraid. Right, make sure we put this equidistant from the top. So I've got 1 long strip there. That's for the gusset. Let's do the same for the main fabric. And I'm going to place it there as a pocket, which means I've got to finish that off. So what I want to do is I want to put my pockets just below that top bit there. So I'm going to just edge finish the top and the bottom, so that I can put the pockets there and they'll get serged in along the side. So finish the top and the bottom like I did the inside pocket. So overlock the edges. First I'm going to fold that top edge over like that, and I'm going to finger press that down and top stitch it at 1/2 inch. Go. And do the same with the other pocket, and I'm going to do an inside seam on 9. Right, so there's pocket 1. So from the top, there they are. So they sit almost level, not quite, but almost. And if I pop a couple of pins in there, excellent. Got pockets. Just remove all the pins. There you go. Leave that one now, we don't need those in there. And then what's happened is that becomes the inside of that bag. So, and then all we need to do now is turn that back round grab the other side. And we want good sides together. I'm just going to pin all that down like that. And then just do the same again. But it's probably best to find the centre point at the bottom so you get an even curve. Right, so there it is. So if I fold that in half, mark the centre point there, we go, and then I've got the centre point here, which I didn't mark, did I? So mark that again. So just grab the seams and just mark that. So there's my centre point, and just make sure they match up. Got to keep it aesthetically balanced. It won't matter if it's a little bit out, that it really isn't an issue. And then just work my way around and pin the rest of the bag. So can you see? So I've pinned the middle of the bottom of the bag to the gusset, to the middle of the gusset. So just carry on and pin all the way around. Just take care when you do the pockets, because remember, they have not been sewn in yet. And this is going to pleat round, so be careful. Just don't stretch either the front or the back. If you start stretching, then you'll get it all misaligned. Oops. I'm afraid I can't tell you the violin I have because I don't know. But I'll investigate. I'll look at the selvage and I'll investigate. Okay. And there we go. And if you pin it right, it should all marry up equally at the top. Right, so I haven't put too many pins in because I don't like too many pins, as you know. I'm going to just go ahead and serge that. So place the fabric. If you're not going to use pins, place the fabric so it squares off. So the gusset squares off with the back panel of the bag. And that way you know you've got it straight. So get that started. Right, in my madness, I've forgotten to leave a turning hole, haven't I? Made tote bags forever, hundreds of them, and I've forgotten to leave a turning hole, which is great because it gives me the opportunity to show you how to unstitch overlocking. So we're going to unpick those and just choose, don't unpick the loopers, and you'll see very quickly why. Right, so when you undo your stitching, the loop threads just come out. There we go. We need to make sure we don't have them twisted, and we're going to place them so the overlocking sticks out, and I'll chop that away there over the edge. So the overlocked edge is hanging over the edge of the bag. Put the safety pin in so that when I turn the bag through, I don't catch myself on pins. And we're going to put good sides together. Now decide which way you want your pocket to be. So I've got that as my front, and I want the pocket when I open the bag to be there, like that. So I'm going to make sure the lining side with the pocket on there is sitting against the back. So as long as I've got the important bits matched up, my seams, they're matched up, and I'll cut that tail thread now. And I'll do one quick loop all the way round. I can place my bag in there. Get this. Now, people use these for embroidery machines, and I did actually have mine made for my embroidery machine. And think about it, I don't know why I don't use it for the overlocker. So just watch how cool this is. So I can lift my machine up and place my bag under there, so it's like an extended free arm. Right, got my pins in. I'm going to just go round. And when we get to the end, just go over the first row of stitches. Don't trim anything off. Lift the presser foot and the needles out and chain away. Like that. So, got my turning hole, just pull everything through. There we go. And push that lining in. Now, I'm not a big fan of top stitching, but I am a fan of understitching, but I can't do understitching now. So all I can suggest here now, if you want that to stay, is to give this a press now. So you see I've got a pocket on the inside there as well. And I've got my turning hole, which I need to top stitch. I'm going to do it on the machine rather than hand stitch. Not a big fan of hand stitching, you probably could tell now. So there we go, all done. Just need to and then, because of it's on a curve, I'm going to do it on a ham actually. There we go. Because I've got the seam underneath as well, it's a bit tricky to do.